Eric, you're on the air.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Eric Momsen here to talk about the next game in the 2010 World Championship of Arimaa. We have Fritzlein and chessandgo going up against each other. This could be the last game, depending on... Hello, this is Arimaa World here to talk about the last game, or the second to last game of the 2010 World Championship for Arimaa, depending on who wins. We have Fritzlein facing off against chessandgo. Fritzlein is undefeated so far, and chessandgo has one loss in an earlier game to Fritzlein. So depending on the victor here, we either have the deciding game or the second to last game.
Eric, I think Fritzlein has a loss as well also.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the winner of this is going to be the winner of the World Championship here. So it looks like both the players are seated here. They haven't started the clock yet. Any ideas for what the setup might be like, Eric?
In the first game between the two of them, we had if I recall, we had a fairly typical setup from chessandgo, and then Fritzlein came in with a very unusual for him opening with an elephant behind a trap and a very aggressive start. And it would be tough to repeat that type of a surprise again, I think.
So chessandgo has set up, and quite an unusual opening for him. I haven't seen him set up this way before, I don't think.
Yeah, chessandgo usually seems to favor a balanced opening, but I think he's becoming a bit more adventuresome here after having lost to Fritzlein earlier. He has the elephant behind a trap, which is a very aggressive starting. You can advance your elephant all the way to your opponent's trap on your first move. So definitely looking for a fast attack from chessandgo on the east wing.
Yeah, I'm expecting chessandgo here to maybe put his camel on the east wing. Usually you don't, if you're gold, you don't set up both your horses together on one wing, because, that way your opponent knows which wing your horses are on, and can easily decide to put his camel on that side, because as Karl mentioned yesterday, that's what camels like to do, is go after the horses. So we have Fritzlein set up.
Yep, and he did just that. He put the camel across from the two horses, and chessandgo still came straight at it with moving the elephant across the trap. Now Fritzlein also has both his horses in the center, one of them in the back row even, so it looks like he's trying to keep a flexible attack at the beginning, that he could bring the horses to either side. Usually the camel's kept in the middle to allow it to be flexible on which side it wants to go to, so if the camel's offset, here Fritzlein has the horses in the center, and we'll see where he wants to go with them.
Yeah, this is quite unusual. I've never seen him starting out with horses in the center. Usually at least one horse is on, committed to, either of the wings. But yeah, this is the first time I've seen a setup like this where both horses are so close to the center. So it's going to be quite a different type of a game, I think. So Fritzlein has made his move, and he's also charging forward with his elephant and advancing the horse. So any ideas here, Eric, on what Chess and Go, how he might proceed here?
Yeah, taking a look at the opening setup, the Fritzlein didn't put a horse on the west wing, which makes sense with the camel, Chess and Go's camel over there. So the west side certainly seems a lot softer for Chess and Go to attack. But Chess and Go does continue advancing with the horses. It looks like he's going to try to attack the camel with the horses and the elephant.
Yeah, this is like crazy. I mean, I've never seen anybody charging in with the horses on this, walking them right towards the camel here. So this is going to be something totally different now. I don't know what Chess and Go has in mind here, but I've never seen him play like this before.
It certainly will force the game into Fritzlein's side of the board. I don't see a very good way for Fritzlein to advance to Chess and Go's side. So in terms of having overwhelming attacks and rushing across the board, it looks like Chess and Go is going to win that positional battle of being able to bring the game to his opponent's side of the board.
Yeah, usually, if you advance your pieces on one side or the other, you usually want to do it so that you have a lot of weaker pieces like rabbits or cats and stuff tagging along, just to be available there to unfreeze your pieces, like the stronger pieces like a camel or a horse or whatever. But here, Chess and Go has just started moving in with the horses and hasn't brought out any weaker pieces yet.
So Fritzlein's 3S is moving his pieces up as well. Looks like he's not interested in having the game completely on his side of the board. We'll see if one side or the other can get past the opposing elephant. It would seem tough for Fritzlein to get any horses advanced because the gold camel is on the opposite wing. So if one of those horses gets pushed across to the west, the camel's there to nab it. But that doesn't seem to be concerning Chess and Go either, that he's attacking the camel with the horses. So for 4G, Chess and Go continues advancing pieces forward. I think we've had, besides a few sideways steps with the elephants, we've had all forward steps by both players.
Yeah, now he's played that horse on, the H5 square, and typically, for silver would want to have one of, the silver pieces on that square, so that if the elephant were to pop out the camel would be able to easily slide back. But now with that horse being on that square, the elephant can, pop out the camel and it would not be able to go back. So that's going to cause this silver elephant to need to have to stay sort of on the east wing. And I'm wondering if Chess and Go is going to maybe, consider attacking on the west wing with the camel now.
Yeah, it looks like one of Fritzlein's options would be actually to step across and push the one horse back, the G4 horse, back into the camel, preventing the camel from being pulled out.
Right. I think that would be a good move, and then Chess and Go has to also take at least one step to, keep that cat on F2 safe, and the camel would also be able to retreat back easily if the elephant pulls it out.
Yeah, I don't think either player is going to be looking to retreat anytime soon, though. I think Chess and Go's goal right now is to get the two elephants tied up in the east. If Chess and Go is able to do that, having the camel on the west wing will allow Chess and Go to make some advances. Um, so chessandgo just moves the elephant over and moves some other smaller pieces forward. So Fritzlein does have the option. Sorry, wrong player there. Fritzlein moved a bunch of small pieces forward and left chessandgo the option to pull the camel out. One of the things I have noticed with Fritzlein chessandgo is that camel hostages don't seem to be very high on their list of things to do. That it takes a long time to drag the camel back to your side of the board, and then protecting it or keeping it held hostage ties up your elephant. So I actually don't think Fritzlein is worried about having his camel taken hostage, and I don't think chessandgo will actually take it hostage for very long. He might just try to pull it over to the side of the board to allow one of his horses to come in to this side of the trap. But I don't think we'll see a normal camel hostage situation.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be difficult for chessandgo to even consider taking that camel hostage. I mean, his own horses are going to get in the way. Now, instead, he's also advancing pieces here to swarm. It's very interesting. Both players advancing pieces on the east wing here, and I'm sure it's going to get into a bit of a complicated tactical mess here pretty soon. That might leave the camel, the gold camel, as the strongest piece, able to roam around on the board. And if that happens, then I would say chessandgo would have an advantage here in the opening. So we'll have to see, if both of these elephants become committed here, or if the silver elephant will remain mobile enough to be able to switch to the west wing if needed.
Yeah, I'm a little curious that Fritzlein advanced all the pieces up behind his camel. It doesn't leave him any place to flip a horse hostage. So it looks like his intent is purely to block things up to both players vying to get to the center of the board.
Yeah, or even to advance his camel now forward onto chessandgo's side. That would be quite interesting.
I'm trying to figure out what progress either player can make at this point. They took most of their first moves rather quickly, and now trying to look at what to do next. So Fritzlein pulls a rabbit on 5x. First time in this game that one of the other players has advanced their opponent's pieces. It seems recent trends have been to not do as many rabbit pulls, and just in terms of it being a good aid for unfreezing pieces and the frequency of swarming attacks. So I think Fritzlein here is saying he thinks he has everything blocked up and is willing to put a rabbit forward to trap it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm going to use my necklace.
Okay, yeah. Someone else that needs to put news on?
Yeah, no problem. I took care of it. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Lately it's been as if rabbit pulling is not a good idea, because these advanced rabbits lately in all the games of these top players have become too much of a headache later on in the game. And in fact, the players are trying to advance the rabbits, but the opponent is trying to push them back. And so it's kind of unusual here to see Fritzlein actually pull out a rabbit a little bit. So I'm a bit clueless as to what plan he has in mind.
What I see it being used for right now is that he can block both horses off to the side.
Right. That rabbit could become sort of like used as a shield to get in the way of his own pieces. But here on 6G, chessandgo has actually popped out that camel, and so I have a feeling that either Fritzlein is going to have to push that rabbit back and retreat the camel, or maybe advance the cat and then go forward with his camel. I'm not sure which of those options he'll take.
Yeah, at this point, chessandgo is threatening to advance his horses around the camel into the other side of the F6 trap there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting if he's able to get the horses back there. But also it's a little bit dangerous, I think. I don't know if it's going to have enough pieces there to prevent. Yeah. So you kind of did what you were. Well, actually, Fritzlein took the horse hostage here. I mean, both players. I don't know if chessandgo wanted the horse to get back there, but you know, whether he wants it or not, it's back there now.
This is a very interesting position with the two rabbits blocking the elephants from getting over to the side of the action there. And Fritzlein, I was worried that Fritzlein had no room left to take a horse hostage, but that was a nice little maneuver, inserting the camel in between the horses, and that allowed him to bring that horse hostage. So a very quick response from chessandgo, pinning the camel to the side, like I thought would be one of his options to try to reduce the mobility of it, but it would have been a lot more dangerous if the second horse would have been behind the camel first. This keeps his horse safe, but the camel's frozen and can't push the horse anymore. And chessandgo took a voluntary step backwards to retreat his horse.
Yeah, I think chessandgo might end up trying to go for a camel hostage here. I don't know. I mean, well, I think he had to do that at the very least. Try to free up his horse, frees up this camel here. But on the following move, I think maybe Fritzlein might put one of that rabbit, swing it over to F5 and threaten to capture it.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if Fritzlein will want to try to capture that rabbit, or if he'll push it over next to his own camel to prevent the camel from being brought down. Fritzlein could push the one rabbit over and draw the next rabbit up, and it would essentially pin in the camel from being taken hostage on chessandgo's side of the board.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But you know, I think with some of these other pieces and these rabbits being advanced, it's going to be a little bit harder for chessandgo to get that camel back and get it in position for a good hostage. And in the meantime, I think if Fritzlein wants, he might be able to win a rabbit or two. Usually, that's something that you can do is you know, if you let your opponent take a camel hostage, usually you can pull off a rabbit or a cat or something and get at least some material advantage as compensation for the camel hostage. Oh, he does something completely different. So he brings the horse forward and threatening to invade the F3 trap here. Well, what do you think of this move here, Eric?
My first reaction is that looks great. The chessandgo's camel probably doesn't want to come over and get involved in the fight, just because chessandgo's trying to keep the strongest piece over on the left once the elephants are tied up, or if he can tie the elephants up. I've been wondering at the beginning how Fritzlein was going to bring his horses in play, and I wonder if he had that in mind from the beginning.
Yeah, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think that might be a good move for Fritzlein to bring that horse out deep into Chessandgo's side here. That will kind of cause the camel to come back a little bit, back to stay on the home side and maybe shift over to the east wing here to try to go after that horse as a target. Also, that horse will help prevent that camel from being taken hostage. I think with that horse being around, it'll be much more difficult for Chessandgo to take that silver camel hostage now.
Now Chessandgo has to make a choice now. If he retreats with his elephant to protect the trap, he will leave behind his horse. If he comes over with a camel, he risks tying up both his big pieces and leaves Fritzlein with the largest piece on the west, or the strongest piece on the west. So Chessandgo didn't do either of those. He's looking to defend his F3 trap with only the small pieces, and has set up a flank on the south and the east side of the trap to make it more difficult for the silver attack to continue.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting move. Something I hadn't even considered at all. But that definitely prevents the horse from being able to occupy either the F2 or the G3 squares, because if the horse was able to get on one of those squares, it would be very strong there. So this move just creates a flank on both of those sides and prevents the horse from getting in there.
I'm looking to see if there's any way for Fritzlein to continue with the attack now, or if he's going to consider trying to drag something back.
Well, I think Fritzlein has to get that horse out of there soon, otherwise it could actually get blockaded. So like the camel, if the horse was to just remain on that square, the camel could come around and over to E3 and just blockade that horse, frame it basically, frame the horse and pin the elephant.
Yes, definitely. Fritzlein needs to do either retreat the horse or maybe move the rabbits around to try to give his horse a place to go.
Now it's not going to be easy for him to flip out one of those rabbits either, because the horse is on that trap. Wow, so he decides to bring another horse into this side.
He's going all in.
Yeah, these guys are just kind of keep on raising the ante, over on the east wing here, bringing more and more heavy pieces to the east. It's going to be very interesting. I think no doubt now that the camel will want to come back at least to D3 for sure. I mean, both horses being over here, I mean, the camel is going to be very attracted to that.
Yeah, I wonder if he brings the camel over, if Fritzlein, I think Fritzlein's next move, maybe even regardless of what Chessandgo does, is that he will pull the dog back towards his side, which will then allow the horses on the trap to step through to F2 there.
Yeah, or the other option I was thinking is that he might want to just use his horses together to maintain control of F3 and maybe free up the elephant a little bit to move towards the gold camel. But yeah, it's Chessandgo's turn right now. So I'm definitely expecting that camel to come back over, at least to the center here, to get closer to the horses. I don't think chessandgo can contemplate trying to invade f6 right now, because if he were to do that, I think these horses would be able to take care of themselves around f3, and then the elephant would become free to go after the camel.
Yeah, I tend to think that Fritzlein's going to leave the elephant at f3 until he's able to make sure that the other horses box off. He's looking to take firm control and start capturing, not just keep his horses safe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so if the elephant gets to stay around there, then he's gonna try to gain control of f3, and just that could become a very, very tough situation then for chessandgo.
So from chessandgo's standpoint, he has two horses that he can go after with his camel. If he does bring the camel over, like you're suggesting, Omar, that leaves, and I guess Fritzlein can bring a dog down and everything to start attacking the c3 trap as well, with all the pieces tied up in the east. chessandgo still has frozen Fritzlein's camel. So I'm sure he's trying to look for something to do with that camel that he's been able to take a captive, but really can't do anything with it right now. Chessandgo's using a lot of reserve on this move. Definitely, this is definitely going to be a big strategic choice for how he wants to deal with this threat and what pieces he wants to bring into the fight. His initial response has been just use small pieces, trying to avoid bringing either the elephant or the camel. But with the second horse coming in, I'm assuming chessandgo's trying to figure out which piece he needs to bring in. And if you bring the elephant back around, that's probably his least favorite choice right now. That gives up a horse pretty quickly, but he might be looking to see if it's worth trading horses at this point.
Wow, chessandgo used like over 4 minutes on that move, and finally decided to bring the camel back towards the horses. Yeah, I don't think either player has I would say won the opening or gained a definite advantage or disadvantage, but I think pretty soon here it will become very tangled and very tactical, and I think we'll probably start to see one side or the other having some sort of an advantage. But at this point, I'd say the game is still pretty fairly even. What do you think, Eric? You see any side having more of an advantage than the other yet?
I actually see Fritzlein having an advantage after this bit of the opening. Chessandgo's elephant is holding a camel frozen, but doesn't have anything to do with it. So I feel that chessandgo's position is a bit more limited, and that as soon as he tries to do anything with his elephant, he leaves the camel to capture that horse, chessandgo's horse. So I think Fritzlein has a bit more flexibility in what to do with his pieces at this point.
Right, but chessandgo now, having brought that camel back, that camel is going to be able to deal with these horses, I think, and either Fritzlein's elephant is going to have to leave f4 and come over to the west wing to maybe break that camel away, or because I think one of the things that Fritzlein is worried about is if he leaves his elephant from f4, the gold elephant can come to f4 and frame that horse if not careful. So yeah, I don't see. I mean, I don't see any of the players yet having an advantage. I don't think, at least in my mind. But we'll see how it goes here. Fritzlein's also getting into his reserve quite a bit.
Yeah, at the start of this move, Fritzlein's move, he had only a couple minutes of reserve left, and chessandgo still has 4 minutes of reserve. So even though chessandgo took a full 4 minutes on his last 9G move, we still have a pretty significant time advantage for chessandgo here. I certainly don't think that Fritzlein has a huge advantage. Just if I had to pick one side or the other, I'd jump in on Fritzlein's side right now.
Yeah, Fritzlein is actually getting pretty low on reserve here. Getting close to having only about 30 seconds left in reserve. So he switches out, rotates the pieces, and gets the elephant closer to the camel. It's a good move.
Yeah, so the risk here is that his horse can get framed now on F3, and the question is if he can make anything else happen before chessandgo. Okay, so yeah, if chessandgo frames the horse, it will become a race to see if Fritzlein can take the horse he has hostage in time before chessandgo is able to make any use out of the framed horse.
Yeah, after this 9S move, it does look a little bit to me also as if Fritzlein might have an advantage here. Now, yeah, I was going to say one thing that chessandgo has to also be careful of is the possibility of the silver elephant dragging that gold camel back to the silver side. So you usually don't like to leave that elephant and camel like that on that third row. Oftentimes, if you do that, the camels will get dragged back.
Yeah, definitely. If chessandgo just quickly took the frame option right now, then Fritzlein could respond by just walking away, and while doing so, taking the camel with him.
Yeah, this last move by Fritzlein definitely makes it much harder for chessandgo to be able to, disturb those horses. I'm not sure what I would do here. I don't see a lot of progress that chessandgo could make towards, preventing Fritzlein from gaining control of the F3 trap here.
And I'm trying to figure out if there's anything chessandgo can do from an attack standpoint, or if he needs to figure out how to defend F3. He still has the frozen silver camel, but I don't see any way to get any other pieces past that to get over towards the F6 trap to help him to do something there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe chessandgo might need to create some sort of counter attacks on the west wing. At least maybe move his dog up to say B6 or something. I don't know if that might help. That would at least cause maybe one of the horses to go back to that side, and thereby easing some pressure off of F3 here. Oh, nice. so he gets his horse onto g3, so at least he doesn't have to worry about that square getting occupied by one of the silver horses.
It's definitely a strong defensive position, shores up his position. Does give Fritzlein the option to push the camel back. I wonder
yeah, although he wouldn't be able to push it back twice though, maybe just once, because if he goes twice he'd lose a horse. And the elephant might be able to come back and save the camel. So he might push it once and then, you know, get the horse onto e3. But still, yeah, you're right. I mean, that did leave the possibility of that camel getting pulled over to the silver side. And that would be interesting to see if, you know, a situation where both players are trying to take each other's camel hostage.
I'm sure chessandgo is looking for a way to get his camel on the other side of Fritzlein's elephant, since that's where those horses are that he wants to get to. Fritzlein using up all his time again, down to 24 seconds. And decides to retreat. He backs up both horses out of that track, decides that it's going to be too slow going. That also gives him the option next turn to pull out the camel if it doesn't retreat. He also advanced dogs by the c6 track. I'm sure he was looking at that and saying, hey, wait a second, if I do push the camel one step, chessandgo could just advance the dog over to the d6 position. So, you know, keeping that trap a little bit safer too.
Yeah, I think that might have been a good thing to do for Fritzlein to back out a little bit here. He wasn't going to be able to penetrate f3, but the option of dragging that camel back is really good. So so now on this turn, chessandgo definitely has to get that camel away from that elephant.
I see actually a fairly, I don't know if it's sneaky or not, but from something chessandgo needs to watch out for is any piece that he leaves on d3, the elephant will be able to push out, and if he doesn't leave something on d3, the elephant can flip out the piece that's on e2, up next to the horses, and if he doesn't leave a piece on e2, then the horse can switch courses and dive back down to f2. So I see a lot of good options for silver to take advantage of the position he's in right now.
Yeah, interesting analysis there. You're right. It's a tough situation here for chessandgo. He doesn't want to keep the camel there, but if he doesn't do that, then you know he has to worry about that dog, and if he moves the dog, then f3 is in trouble. So he does something completely different.
Yep, he ruled out all those options, and it forced him to give up his frozen camel that he had. So chessandgo for 11G split up the two silver horses, has pushed one back to Fritzlein's side of the board, and has one frozen towards his side of the board. And I think that really helps to diffuse Fritzlein's attack. The disadvantage is that he did let go of the silver camel. The question is if Fritzlein's going to be interested in bringing that camel to chessandgo's side of the board voluntarily to try to add to the attack around f3, or if Fritzlein likes having that horse pin back there on his side of the board.
Yeah, but also that rabbit advance that chessandgo did, that rabbit advancing on the G file, now will prevent that elephant from ever being able to go and freeze that camel again also. With only about 27 seconds left in reserve, Fritzlein made his move, and I'm kind of baffled here a little bit as to what he's doing, but he basically brought the elephant onto f4, perhaps preventing the gold elephant from coming onto that square, and also moved the horse deep over onto the east wing here. What do you make of this, Eric? Any idea what's going on here?
Well, before that move, Fritzlein still was being threatened by having the horse framed and pinning the elephant to it. So, yeah, so he's trying to make sure he avoided that. Before, it was, I wasn't sure if it was a bad thing or not, but, Fritzlein definitely, is avoiding that now. Looks like, trying to decide where he could go next. With all the pieces gathered between, in the middle of the board there, I wonder if, where is he going to go next? Yeah,
it's going to be getting pretty jammed up there on the east wing, especially with all those rabbits advanced as well. So it's go ahead. What were you gonna say?
After watching Fritzlein jump both horses in, he's now back to a position where he only has one there. I wonder if he's still looking to attack, if he'll bring in the camel now, or if he's going to try to work out a way to capture one of the advanced rabbits or horses. From chessandgo's standpoint, I wonder where he's going to go next. He has a pretty good defense set up now finally. He's successfully repelled the attack at f3. And that was one of the things I was looking at. He's looking to, there's a horse pinned there. They're trapped by all those other pieces. So he's bringing his camel across, and we might have a situation here where both players have a horse hostage. Kind of interesting on that move for 12G, chessandgo voluntarily opens up the G3 square. Usually you're trying really hard to keep your opponent's horse away from that square, but in this case it looks like he wants it there.
Yeah, definitely sort of inviting that silver horse to come forward, but of course, you wouldn't want to do that because it's easy target to be taken hostage. Now, Fritzlein's turn. Both players are really tight on reserve here, so they're going to have to make some moves. Wow. Whoever just joined might want to turn your mic off. Okay. Anyways, so Fritzlein brings his elephant into f3, supported only by his horse. Any possibility here of that elephant getting framed?
I was looking at that real quick. He only needs one step to cover the north side of the square, but I don't see it would take 5 steps to get enough of other pieces there. There's definitely takes a lot of guts to walk your elephant out of a trap. especially when we have a minute to look at it to make sure that that piece isn't going to get pulled out from under you. I do like the move in that it separates the camel from the horse again. So Fritzlein saw the invitation to that square and said, okay, I'll take it. And steps in between the horse and the camel with the elephant. He can now push that camel back out and has reestablished a elephant-horse attack.
Ouch! Oh my God!
Fortunately, I didn't look fast enough.
Oh my God!
That rabbit could move around to the other spot.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either. Oh, Fritzlein missed that possibility. Wow. I totally didn't see that either. I thought everything looked safe here. Wow.
I'm looking to see if there's a way for Fritzlein to protect that horse with the camel and maybe another horse. He just needs to get a dog or something to pull the one rabbit out of the way to be able to break the frame. But he needs to make sure that
Yeah, that camel's going to have to come in and maybe perhaps pull that horse up with it. You know, like camel to G4 and then pull the horse up to H4. But oh man, very, very tough situation here for Fritzlein. And especially being kind of low on reserve now. I mean, you know, this is not the kind of position you want to be in when you're also kind of low on reserve. Oh man.
Yeah, my first instinct would have been it was okay, and that he had guts doing it, but chessandgo had enough time to find this move. So yeah, that was the only way I saw of temporarily blocking it. And well, maybe it'll work. You need to have time for that dog to pull the rabbit. So the dog needs to get down next to the rabbit. On his turn, the horse can come out and move the other horse aside. Let's see, let me count here. Yeah, but I think Fritzlein will be safe. Both one or the other of the horses has to be close enough that he can use 3 steps to pull the horse back into that flank, and use the other step to advance the dog down. And once he's done that, he'll be able to get his elephant out of the trap.
Oh man, that is really cutting it close. I would be sweating right now if I was in the shoes. Yeah, but I think if that dog is able to dislodge that rabbit, might be able to get some break up that frame.
Oh wait, I see. No, he can move both horses far enough away. Okay, and he moved his own rabbit away. So yeah.
Oh man, this is getting really tough. Can he stop that elephant now from pushing that camel away and pulling out that horse? Oh man.
No, he needs one more step.
Oh man. Yeah, it gets into like such, you know, fine tactics here that you know, it's very hard to see. You know, you think something could work, but then, you know, these players come out with a move that just surprises you. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I don't see how he's going to be able to keep something from... Oh, man.
Yeah, I wonder if in the move when you move the dog over, he could have moved the horse down instead to prevent that rabbit from sliding over, then he could have kept it up, or, you know, as long as he kept one free step each time, he could continue advancing towards that rabbit to bring it out. So on that move by chessandgo on 14G, dragging that rabbit over to the side of the board was important, because if that rabbit would have been one step over, he could have stepped out on the other side of the flank.
Very low on time. Oh, he loses on time here. Oh man! Wow, what a game. We're on 14G, and Fritzlein has lost on time. Unbelievable. This is the first time I've seen something like this.
I do remember seeing one previous game written up in Fritzlein's book about somebody losing an elephant that had been safe on one turn, and then a couple turns later it wasn't.
Yeah, that was a game between Arimaa Master and Mystery, and I think that was in the finals of the World Championship as well. Yeah, that there was one other time where I did see something like this, but at the it's the very first time in the finals that I've seen anything like this. My goodness. Let's see if maybe
very aggressive play by both players. Fritzlein went just a hair past aggressive, and I don't know if you call it a blunder or miscalculated that the frame could be set up on that elephant.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a bit of a miscalculation. I mean, I'm sure he considered the possibility, but just like how we missed how to get a piece onto E4, I think he may have also missed that as well. Let's see if the players are in the chat room.
I'm guessing they're still talking to each other at the end of the game there. They haven't come into the chat room yet. We should thank our sponsors real quick. The board games for us.
Yeah, our sponsors are Board Games for Us and Z-Man Games. Z-Man Games is the maker of the Arimaa board game sets, and Board Games for Us is a retailer of board games on the internet, and you can also buy Arimaa sets from Board Games for Us. So let's see here if we can maybe get the players into the in here for an interview. I see Jean is here. Eric, you want to interview him?
Hey guys.
Hi Jean. Amazing game there. I mean, very unexpected. We didn't see the possibility of how you could frame that elephant, but you made that one move which was just a shocker. For a while actually we thought that Fritzlein was getting a bit of an advantage here in the opening before this happened, and I'm wondering what your thoughts on how the opening went.
Yeah, I got very lucky on this one. I did not see the blockade coming on 12G. Actually, I did just see a few dozens of seconds before playing it. So I got really lucky, and yeah, I think Karl was winning the opening up to there. I had not realized that his camel on the side was actually fine, and that he had a good play with his horses and elephant, and so okay, I guess my opening strategy was really bad here.
Wow, amazing. And I see Fritzlein here is in the TeamSpeak room. Hi Karl, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Congratulations, Jean. That was a mighty tactical blow.
Thank you. That was a lucky one.
Yeah, we were all.
Not luck.
I mean,
you read the book.
That's right. I read your book.
Yeah, very good. I should have been aware of that possibility. In fact, I even was looking out for that and saying, are there enough pieces to frame my elephant? But I didn't look at the piece coming across away using the rabbit that was nearby. I was only looking to the other side.
Yeah, we were all very astonished here, also watching the game, because even until Jean actually made that move, I don't think anybody saw that was a possibility, and so that was a big surprise for us.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who failed to spot the possible frame.
I counted it out a couple times and declared that, oh, you were safe. And it was a great move to get your elephant in between the camel and the horse.
Well, it just shows that tactics trump strategy, and it shows who the better tactical player is. For sure, I thought I was doing okay in the opening strategy until then.
Yeah, we agreed that having your camel frozen was not that big of a disadvantage because it was essentially tying up chessandgo's elephant while you were free to try to work out an attack. But we definitely thought it was very close up to that point.
I think I actually had an elephant blockade in the workings there.
Did you abandon that to continue the attack as deciding it wasn't worth making the blockade?
Let me look at the position there. What was the position right before I blundered my elephant there?
Yeah, I would have tried to get your horse framed. I guess you were going to frame my horse on f6. I was hoping to frame yours on f3, but I don't think I could have managed that actually.
Yeah, it was move 12S there, I think, Karl.
Oh yes, okay. So I had my dreams of the elephant blockade were before 12G. I'm sorry, even before 11G, before the elephant came out on 11G. That's when I was looking for the blockade. So I had that had already passed. But that was what would happen. I thought that was what would happen if my camel were to remain hostage. So I wasn't worried about that camel hostage at all. That would have been just a blockade of the gold elephant. So on 11G, the hostage had to be set free.
Yes, that makes sense. And it looked like, I don't know if chessandgo had followed that line of analysis or was just looking to get his elephant out, but I was looking at any of the spots around Silver's elephants. If any of them were kept open, either the piece was left there, they could be easily pushed back to the Silver side of the board, or if they were left open, then Silver was beginning to be able to advance to F2. But the blockade is probably was the strongest threat right there.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what I should have done on 12S now that I look at it. It seems that the threat to my horse is not trivial. Although even with that threat to my horse, I think I'm in an okay position. So even though I have a little bit of issue, how is my exposed horse going to avoid the camel? It's not clear how much trouble that actually puts me into, because my camel already has the horse hostage, so I'm not in bad shape even then.
So Karl, Yeah, I was going to say on 12S, when your horse advanced down to G3, you pulled a rabbit with it onto G4. Wonder why you did that pull there.
Otherwise, I lose my elephant?
No, I mean pulling the gold rabbit.
On move 12S, if I move my horse down and then put my elephant in the trap, then I would lose my elephant immediately.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's it. That's true. Forget that.
So I pulled the rabbit. Now maybe if I pulled the other rabbit, the blockade doesn't even work.
Let's see.
Now that I look at it, it seems that if I had pulled back the gold rabbit instead of pulling the one over, and then the blockade maneuver, I have more pieces ready to just jump in there and defend my elephant. I might be able to defend my elephant long enough to get out, be able to pull out gate on the other side. So the reason that I kept the elephant, I was quite happy with gold rabbit there on the G5 square, because the gold rabbit on G5 kept the gold elephant away from my camel. So I was very pleased with the constellation of pieces there, and thought that I would have a strategic long-term advantage because of it. But and so that's why I didn't pull the rabbit back, and instead pulled the H4 rabbit over one square. But I think if I had pulled the G5 rabbit back to G4, the game would still be going on.
Yeah, that line does look a lot better. Just looking at it in the plan window.
Well, anyway, congratulations, Jean. Well spotted, and very interesting opening. I was shocked when I saw your opening setup. I took a while to respond because I had fallen out of my chair. And I'm not sure if I did the right thing, but I was liking my position until I saw your move. I didn't even see that I could be framed after I had made my move. So when it came down on the board, I just had that terrible sinking feeling. Oh no.
Yeah, it was definitely a big shock for everybody watching. I wonder if you want one more tactical question. I wonder if on 13S with your fourth step, instead of moving the dog over, if you would have moved the horse south, if you would have been able to keep things safe for long enough to pull that rabbit out.
That's a good question. I thought about moving the horse up, and then I thought, to pull the rabbit out of the frame, I would need 2 steps to get my dog there, and if I move my horse up, then I have to use 1 step to unfreeze my horse in order to get it closer. But I didn't. I was running out of time, and I thought I can hold that one more turn. I thought I would to prevent my elephant from being captured one more turn, and give myself 1 more step in order to break the blockade. I didn't realize that I would need to try to hold it in yet 1 more turn. So I think I don't know whether with my horse there I would have had a shot at it or not.
No, I don't think it works. As you say, the horse is frozen on F5. So if I move my rabbit to G6, I think there is no way for Silver to get a piece on H4 and G5 within 4 steps on next move.
That's right. You pull the rabbit out of G6 with your horse, so you can move it forward. Yep. It looks over either way. Well done, and congratulations. And I look forward to next week. But I have to ask. I'm not going to have internet access. I'll be on vacation, and I easily have internet access until Monday. So I'm hoping that there's some time on Monday that would work for you to play.
Yeah, Monday is fine. I mean, anytime, like this time, or anytime is fine next Monday.
Okay, great. So I'll put very low priority on everything except for Monday. And if you could put a high time for Monday evening around this time, that would be perfect for me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys, for coming in. And so that, I think we'll wrap it up for game of the World Championship between chessandgo and Fritzlein. Unbelievable finish. And thanks a lot, Eric, for commentating on the game.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me. It was definitely a quick and exciting game. Not at all what I was expecting, but that's part of the entertainment of Arimaa.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big surprise for me, too. I mean, never would have guessed that this game would finish in 14 moves. We'll have to see who the winner is in the spectator contest. Whoever probably entered a crazy low number is probably going to win this one. And definitely want to thank our sponsors once again, Board Games for Us and Z-Man Games for sponsoring this year's Arimaa World Championship. I'd also like to thank the community, members of the community who have contributed to the Arimaa Prize Fund, and also the members of the community who are making updates in the game-to-game coverage in the wiki. So if you haven't looked at that, definitely take a look at that. Very, very interesting commentary there on all the games. And thanks everybody who's come out to watch, and I'm sure you found the games surprising and entertaining as Eric and I did. All right, take care.